Hey guys, welcome to Executive Espresso, and we're waiting on GM. GreenMan, that guy with that thing over his face. And I don't often wear green, but when GreenMan's going to be on the show, I do. And I'm hoping he's going to be able to make it. Somebody call him and tell him his alarm clock didn't go off. So today, what I thought we would do until GreenMan shows up, if he can, hope he's okay. But I thought I would take some questions from the audience about what you're finding as workable when it comes to your mindset on X. How do you decide what to post? How do you decide when to post it? How do you decide whether to? And there's a post I'm gonna, talk about from Green Man here in a moment that I thought was really, really key. How do you decide whether to stay true to your art or you just follow the crowd? And I'll go ahead and dig into that in a moment. But one of the things I love about what Green Man does, besides being unpredictable, including with his alarm clock, is he really takes a satirical approach. And I think that there's a bit of a tipping point, a bit of a fine line there. How do you leverage satire and then not turn people off? I can be just a little bit satirical myself, a little bit snarky. I think Green Man is the expert on that. But how do you grow a community and craft really viral satire in in a culture that seems to be offended by everything? And I was going to say this quote to the end, but I love this that Green Man said, if you're not offending someone, you're probably not doing something right. I hope I got that quote right there, Green Man. But today, you guys, if you have a thought or a question, go ahead and put it up in the chat. I would love to hear what you have to say about, do you like satire? Does it turn you off? Do you get the dad jokes? Do you get the humor? Do you take things too seriously? Share out the space. We'll be here for the next few minutes and see if Green Man can make it. If not, we're going to invite him again. He's a great account. Go over, take a look at what he does. And I get a lot of value out of it and quite a few chuckles. And so what is it that you do on X, and how do you keep on doing it? So one of the questions I was going to ask is, how do you decide what topics are worth satirizing? And I think that I like to find satire in things to shake up people's thought process. If you'll notice on X and any other social media platform, what people do often is they just chase the crowd and it becomes an echo chamber. Well, if all you're doing is chasing the crowd and being an echo chamber with what you post, then you become part of the just the white noise out there because everyone's doing the same thing. So what is it that you're doing? And again, the chat is open. Drop your thoughts, drop your questions in the chat. I'll give it a stab and I'll save up these for next time when we're able to get Green Man on here if he isn't able to show up today. I already have a thing set up ready for him to go. But right now, there's no camera source except for my diploma back there. So go ahead, and I should have put a little emoji or something up there for him. But again, great account, great account. Looking forward to getting him on the show. But how do you stay unique? What is it about you that other people might find interesting? A friend of mine was sharing with me that someone told them they're just not that interesting. Well, if you look at yourself in the mirror and you think that you're just not that interesting, what I think is you're not looking deeply enough. Because here's what I find in my spaces. I do a space Monday through Saturday, 12 o'clock every day. We're going to have one today called Freaky Friday. And one of the things that I like to do is share ways that I think about other people's thinking. And so one of the things you can do is you can look at a TV commercial. What's your take on that? What's funny about it? What did they get right? What did they get wrong? Look at an influencer at some take they had and then share back in social media, in the live stream, in the feed, in your timeline, your take on what you learned or your take on where they got it wrong. Hop over into my feed and my timeline, and if you think I post something and I got it wrong, challenge it. I don't mind challenges, and if you're an influencer and you mind challenges, then maybe you should not be an influencer. Maybe you're not an influencer of anything. And so, one of the ways that I think you can decide which topics are worth satirizing also is, for instance, if you're going to do a space, I do a space every Saturday on Spaces. It's called SOS, Space on Spaces. And if you're scheduling a space, those keywords aren't for nothing. You can pick 3 of those, and I would recommend going to the very top of the list to the ones that are trending and ask yourself, what do I have to say about this topic that not everyone else is saying? Journal about it. Here's a top tip that I share with clients and patients that I have is take a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, put that topic at the top, narrow it down to 3 other topics, and then do a stream of consciousness page on that topic. Light a candle, get a, here's mine for the day, by the way, it's apple cinnamon tea with some apple vinegar in it, and everything a growing boy needs. But get a cup of tea, light a candle, and do a stream of consciousness writing exercise about thoughts that you have on a certain area of politics. I'm not into politics that much, but it's a really big thing on X. There are spaces that have 2, 3, 15, 20,000 people. I'm not kidding you. Mario Nawful, is that how you say his name? He does huge spaces. Diligent Dennison does huge spaces. Others do huge spaces. And so pick a topic and present your take on it. Don't just parrot their take on it. Put out there your take on it. And that's one of the things that I love that GreenMan does is, see, I'm giving him all kinds of props here, and I'll get him on here again in the future, guys. But again, if you have thoughts or questions about this, drop those in the chat. But one of the things that I love about what he does is he takes a bit of a lateral approach to a topic, and then he digs into it, and he really doesn't mind if he's going to offend somebody. Here's how you can know if you're probably going to offend somebody. It's very simple. Open your mouth. If you risk opening your mouth and speaking in a space, chances are someone in that space is going to be offended. But if you're doing it in good faith to educate, then why is that a bad thing? We live in a culture that has come to demonize being offended. I talk about this all the time in Midday Mindset that I do Monday through Friday at 12 o'clock Memphis time, U.S. But we've really made it a national pastime that we have to speak in ways that don't offend other people. Well, consider this, a little bit of the psychology behind that. If you're going to change a thought process, you literally have to be willing to consider something that might offend you because it disagrees with a preconceived notion that you have. And I'm going to go to a different screen so that I could put this comment up here. And I love what Bryce said. The only offensive thing is doing things in bad faith. Yeah. And so what's your reason? There are folks that just say offensive things just to be offensive. I really kind of struggle if there's a value in that. But I think that if your primary purpose is to educate, your primary purpose is to enlighten, your primary purpose, which I think this is GreenMan's purpose, to kind of spur thinking. And I'm going to go down to a post that GreenMan put up, and I really love this when I saw it earlier. Oh, pardon me, get to the right screen here. But welcome to Executive Espresso. So glad you guys are here. We'll be here for about the next 8 or 10 minutes. It's a really short show. I only do it for 18 minutes every Friday. I do a longer form thing Monday through Friday, about an hour. But this post I thought was sheer genius. And he says there's 2 ways to approach content creation on X and in social media. Number 1 is go after engagement, impressions, attention. Those are everything. But when you do that, you're making your art, whatever your art is, secondary to that. Maybe it's AI art, maybe it is psychological art. I like to share off kilter views in psychology that challenge the mainstream. And boy, let me tell you, do people come out of the woodwork when I challenge some of those old, tired psychological colloquialisms on X. Those of you that follow me know that I am a huge critic of believing that others can control your mind, control your mindset, manipulate you, gaslighting. I think that's fake. EQ, yeah, sorry, I think that's fake. Lacks reliability, lacks validity, lacks a lot of good research. It's not grounded in really great research. And so I realize that folks aren't going to like that. But I'm not expecting people to like it. What I am expecting or hoping for is at least they may consider it. And so going on with this post the Green Man made here, which I thought was really cool, if you're going after engagement and impressions and attention, then your art is going to become a byproduct of those metrics. And so you're going to be in good company, points out, because you're going to be surrounded by people that do the same thing. They're just looking for a lot of likes, looking for a lot of shares, they're looking for a lot of follows, but your art eventually will suffer because of that if that is your focus. You know, the brain really doesn't multitask, it's single task and it time shares. And so if your attention is on getting metrics, you may not even notice that your art has suffered, but it will nonetheless. The second way that you could do this, that GreenMan talks about in this post, is make your art all that's important. And I'm reading from his post here, make every iteration better for its own sake, whether anybody likes it, reposts it, follows it, enjoys it, appreciates it, gives you a pat on the back. And so if you concentrate on your art, this is going to cause your art to rise to the top, but then again, engagement may suffer. You're going to spend a lot of time alone because there's not a lot of people that are going to trumpet or put out or even maybe enjoy or appreciate your art. Your art is kind of like a train that has to gather momentum, and that takes a long time. Just ask, well, it's not for nothing that artists are often called, starving artists. And so you can get ready to spend a lot of time alone, have a slow ramping up. And one of my favorite quotes, hey up, man, look at this. Green Man's in the room. We carried on, and we're going to get him up here. Give me just a moment. Green Man, look at that. Got it going on, my
Hey,
friend. Hey, welcome, welcome. I was just talking about this post that you put up that I really, really like. And let me go over here and get you on your own screen, by the way. Just take a moment, my friends. But I love this post that you put up about, two ways to approach content creation. One is engagement, the other is art. And I was just picking that apart. But welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for. I told the audience before you got here, I said, I often don't wear green, but when I do, it's because Green Man's in the room. So these colors are for you, my
nice,
friend. Well,
nice.
how are
Yeah,
you
no, I
today?
apologize. I'm good. I had a few technical difficulties just getting online today for some reason, so I apologize for being a bit late. But yeah, other than that, doing really good.
It's
Just
okay, man. I'm
writing.
glad. I am so excited that you're here. I'm going to make sure I've got the volume up right. Uh, okay. How's my sound, my friend?
Yeah, pretty good. Can you hear me all right?
Perfectly, perfectly. I turned up your mic a little bit, and we're good to go. But let me jump in. Let me jump in, and I'm going to kind of ask a few questions here. First of all, give us the Green Man story. I mean, how did all this come about? We don't want you to share any top secret things that you prefer not to. But how did this whole Green Man persona come about?
Well, I mean, I really wanted to go into video for a while, and me being creative and stuff like that. I used to be in a band when I was younger and do a lot of creative stuff, and then eventually, as you kind of grow older, you go into different things, and I never had that outlet again. So with the GreenMan thing, it kind of presented itself as a way to just, just to kind of have fun and make people laugh and have that kind of outlet again. And then it started taking off. People started liking it, so I kept doing it. And the actual GreenMan persona is just, well, I really like the character GreenMan from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I don't know if you've ever seen that show, but one of the characters in that has a green morph suit that he puts on, and it's still him, but he kind of becomes him extra kind of thing. So I don't know. It was just a kind of thing I did in the beginning, and then the glasses and the hat. Well, I had to buy this one Halloween because I went as Clockwork Orange, so I just kind of threw them all together, and yeah, it kind of stuck, And I like the challenge of being of having to use body language as expression rather than facial expressions, right? So it kind of adds an extra layer of a challenge as well, because then I can communicate with my hands, tonality, stuff like that, and not be able to rely on facial
I
expressions.
love
So yeah.
that. I think that's just genius, and I love the whole steampunk thing. What about that cool vest, man? Where'd you get the vest? Not the
Oh,
one
the
you're
vest.
wearing.
I kind of had. Yeah, I'm not wearing it today. I don't usually wear it if I'm doing lives, because with my normal mask, it doesn't have the eye holes in it, and I can't see anything really. So when I'm doing these ones, I have to have the glasses on here rather than on my head, because they have the eye holes in them. But yeah, so in the beginning, when I first started this, it was originally going to start off as a like a murder mystery storytelling vibe channel kind of thing like that.
Whoa!
So I had this idea for this kind of, yeah, this like mad storyteller kind of vibe person, almost like circus MC kind of thing. But yeah, it just morphed into what it was, and then now I've kind of got this the suit that I wear along with the hat.
I'm a huge
So.
vest guy. My wife doesn't like vests. I love vests. I normally wear one when we're doing this, but I didn't have a green vest, so I'm wearing my green collared Izod shirt or whatever. But like a
Yeah.
lot of people, when I first saw you doing that, I thought, wow, man, how did he come up with that? That is just masterful. And I think you just really hit the nail on the head with a big need, because people don't know how to entertain and educate at the same time. It's usually one or the other. People don't know how to do satire and educate. It's satire to offend, satire to wake up. But what I love about yours is it is satire to educate. But how do you decide? How do you decide what topics are worth satirizing? How do you pick your topics?
My method is really kind of hodgepodge. There isn't a there isn't that much of a method to it. Something will pop into my head, and then I have to kind of run with it. I have to do it then and there. I have this theory. Well, it's not my theory. It's quite a well known one. It's one of my favorite books. I read this book maybe twice a year. There's a book called The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. And it talks about writing, and especially with creative. And if you're a creative, I highly recommend this book. But it talks about how, when you sit down to write, when you have something creative, it almost flows through you. It doesn't come from you. So you almost have to just sit down and give it the environment for which it flows through you. It's almost like a muse, right? So a lot of inspiration kind of comes out of nowhere, and you think, oh, I didn't think that. It just kind of appeared. And that's how I kind of see it with my writing as well. I'll just sit down, or something will pop into my head, or a joke or a certain premise will pop into my head, and then I'll just build off of that. So yeah. So some of the best ideas I've had have just been chilling in spaces, and someone's gone, "Oh, how about this premise?" I've gone, "Actually, that's a good idea," and then just kind of built off of that
Yeah,
kind of thing.
I do
So
the same thing. I do it in spaces, but I do clinical work with patients, and so one of the things I look for, and I think that if even a single person is struggling with something, then probably there's 1,000 people struggling with the same thing. And so I try to listen to what people are struggling with, and then I kind of put it in the mental cooker, the cognitive cooker, and it really is strange. It's almost kind of like planting a pumpkin seed in the ground or something. You know, you just kind of leave it there, and it grows roots and sprouts and becomes this thing greater than you ever imagined that it could be. You know, and so I think that's where a lot of people, I think, get creativity wrong, is they think that it's supposed to come to them fully fleshed out with all the questions answered and everything. And it sounds like you're saying you do similar to what I do, is you just kind of let it grow and develop layers like an onion, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah, you have to kind of let it grow organically. You can't force it. Everybody knows the situation of sitting down and going, right, okay, I need to write something creative now, and nothing ever comes. It's almost when you don't think about it, that's when it starts to flow. Well, I mean, even if you think about states of flow or anything like that, that's usually what it is. It's when you step out of your own way and stop thinking that it kind of flows through you, right? So I see the writing the same way because I'm bringing all the elements in at the same time. The writing, the music as well is quite an important part for me. Having the music match or having something comedy over the top kind of thing. So the process is, it kind of all comes together um, as you kind of go along. So with the writing and then the music and then everything else kind of thing. So it's you never know what you're going to end up with.
now, I would guess that takes a bit of time. You know, how long do you usually spend on producing one of these great videos that you do?
So I've got it down to it depends on the video, but anywhere between 8 and 16 hours, something like that, from concept sitting down to actually write it to finishing the render. So yeah,
That's
between 8 and
amazing.
16.
Yeah, that's quite a
Yeah.
commitment. That's quite a commitment. You know, I know that there are people that complain that they're not getting the hits, the likes, the follows, the shares, the repost, and things like that. But that takes a lot of patience. You know, that's kind of a long haul for a lot of people, 8 to 16 hours. And so
You
there's
have
really
to
no sense
you have to
complaining if you're not going to put in the work.
absolutely no, and you have to commit to you can't go into it thinking, okay, I'm going to spend 16 hours, and if I don't get the impressions that I want, then I'm going to be upset. I started this and thought to myself, okay, the first 100 videos that I make, I'm not going to worry about numbers at all. So I'm not going to worry about how many followers or how many people see it or anything like that. I'm just going to worry about making each video better than the last one. Because I didn't know anything about video editing or even story writing or anything like that.
Wow,
It
no
just I'm a
kidding.
person yeah, I'm just a person who knows how to talk and I can tell, whatever, right? So I had to learn everything. I learned it as I went along, and I thought, well, why not make the videos as you're learning? So my first video that I made actually took something like 28 hours or something like that,
Whoa.
because I was still learning
And
the,
and
the
that
the
Green
ropes.
Man is where a lot of people would have given up.
Yeah, but I just knew that if I did something repetitive, if I did it enough, it'll become, obviously like anything, it just becomes second nature. So when I'm editing now, sometimes I'll sit back and I'll watch myself edit, and I have this. I'll say this thing: so my fingers are not fast enough for what my brain wants to do, right? So I know where to go and what to do, but it's just like moving isn't quick enough. Like where's Neuralink, so I could just do this all by thought. But
Oh yeah, yeah.
but
Wouldn't
yeah,
that be
you just
cool?
get yeah, you just get better at the processes, right? It's not even the thing
You know,
itself. The
as I've
artistic.
said, as I've said often, you know, and this is something that I heard, you know, often at the VA when I was doing work with soldiers, that slow is smooth and smooth is fast. You know, so I give myself permission to get frustrated. A lot of people get frustrated at being frustrated. I don't get frustrated being frustrated. I think frustration is part of the creative process. So I'll get
Oh, for sure.
frustrated, and I view my frustration as a fuel. But just like you said, I know that the first time I do a thing, it's going to really suck. And then the
Yeah.
second time I do it, it's going to really suck. And the third, fourth, but then somewhere around the 37th time, it still sucks, just not so much, you know? And I'm just waiting
Yeah.
on it
So
to suck less. And if I keep on doing it, it does eventually. And now I would guess that, how long have you been doing this so far, by the way?
Almost every day for about well, just over a year. So April 20th last year was my first video. So yeah, just
It's
about a
gotten a
year
lot,
now.
it's gotten a lot smoother, I would guess.
Oh yeah, the process is quite quick now. Actually, it's weird. Sometimes I feel guilty because it goes by so quickly. It's like because now it's down to maybe 4 hours, 3 hours for the last.
Whoa.
I'm like, ooh, should I add more in? So I start doing more stuff because now I want to add more value. Because it's never enough, right? So,
And
so I,
I have something I'd like to say to you and get your take on it, because number one, I think that you have one of the top, probably five. There's a lot of counts on X. Guys, I don't know if you know it, but there's like 600,000 people or something like that on X. 600,000 last count I had. But I think that GreenMan has probably one of the top 5% best, and I'm not saying it because he's here. I just love his account. He has one of the top 5% best accounts on X, but he doesn't have one of the top 5% followed accounts. He's still kind of young in his account. He's not, he doesn't have hundreds of thousands of followers. But you know what? Here's the thing is that I think that you have better content than 90%, if not 95% of those huge accounts. And then more importantly, and I don't know if you know this or not, but you have people like me that watch what you do, and they may not say a lot, but I think that they have a much deeper level of appreciation for what you do than they might for some platitude quote or post from a huge account. In other words, the depth of gratitude that I just hear just out there in the community about what you do is far and above the gratitude that people have for these huge accounts. So I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I'm quite lucky with the people who have found me, the people that like my stuff. They are very involved in it, and yeah, Green Man fans are amazing. I always, again, try to focus on. I don't know what building really means, or why you would want to build a follower count if you don't have something of value to offer. I got asked this, and I get asked it quite a lot because I'm at about 8,500 something like that followers at the moment. But growth has never been uh, it's never been something that I've focused on. So it's kind of secondary to what I'm producing. So I always just wanted to make stuff that makes people laugh, or not educate so much because I'm retarded. Like it's just it's my own kind of meanderings kind of thing. But I always want to make people laugh, and I feel like laughter is the best medicine when it comes to healing, when it comes to trauma, when it comes to any of that stuff. Any the darkest situation could be lit up by dark humor, right? So I always wanted to kind of just do that, and everything else came secondary. So when people started finding me, I was just in my own little corner of X making these videos, and everyone would come like, "This guy has like 300 followers. He's putting all this effort into these friggin' videos. Like, why?" But it was just fun for me. It was funny for me to spend. I remember I think I spent like about 8 hours, 9 hours once on this little short clip that I was going to use as a comment to somebody else's video that they made, and only like 40 people saw it. But it didn't matter because it was hilarious for
That's
me,
right.
right? You know what I mean? And it made the other person laugh, and and plus I'm honing my skills this whole time. Every time I'm making a video, I'm honing my skills about how to making songs, my timing, comedic timing, putting it all together. Like every iteration is practice. And I flew by 100 videos. I was like, I'm not going to focus on numbers until I hit 100 videos. And one day I sat there, I was like, okay, how many videos have I done? And I counted. I was like, oh, I'm at like 130 something. I
Whoa.
blew past it.
That's
So yeah, in
unbelievable.
total.
Wow, that is
Yeah.
unbelievable. And funny is funny no matter if you don't have a whole bunch of people laugh at it. There's going to be somebody out there that laughs at it that has literally changed their entire day because it's changed their outlook. And so I'm a big fan of snarky, dark humor. And so that's what's really thrilled me about you. But I have a question about that. have you run into people that don't seem to appreciate that, and have you gotten much pushback on it, if not critique?
No, not really, not on the humor part. And I try to push it because I mean I'm not at my. I mean I can go so much darker. I think we all can, right?
You've only
But
begun to
it's
plumb the depths of Green Man's darkness here, folks.
yeah. I need to start you guys off like diet Green Man light, Green Man light, and then we'll
Green Man
take it from there.
Light, Diet Green Man. That could be a great new soda.
Yeah, diet Green Man, the kids show. You know, just have it, no swearing.
Green Man Soda Pop.
That's it. That's it.
I love
But
that.
yeah, so I always found humor as something to be, and then you know what guys are like. We sit around saying the most offensive stuff to try to make each other laugh, right? So I kind of got good at that, but I always also realized that it is something that brings um, people together in the darkest of times, and a lot of people, especially on X, I think are you need to laugh, man. There's so much. X is primarily a news app with a bunch of other stuff. You know, obviously memes and everything else like that. But it's easy to kind of get lost in lost in it day to day. And I think people need to laugh every once in a while and step back and
They
laugh at
really do. They really. Life is too
themselves and
short to be
everything
so
else.
serious. Too short to be so serious. One of my favorite quotes from the Joker. Why so serious? Well, tell us about your community. You started a new community on X.
Well, I started the community as it's more of an experiment really because I started it as a TV channel. So obviously the community it's called GreenMan TV. And it's where I'm posting up all my videos from now on, just to kind of have somewhere else because I wanted my main page to be because everything goes into the main page, right? So I just wanted somewhere cleaner to have the video. So now they're going to be launched on Green Man TV community. It's at the top of my page if anyone wants to join. But yeah, other than that, it's just making these loads of collabs coming up, the news blasts and stuff like that. I have a lot of fun with because they're more current events or whatever, and you can do the stuff
Are
on the time.
you?
And then I
Go
sorry,
ahead.
go ahead. No, I said I was gonna say I always wanted a like a fun little satirical news show to do that I can mess around with, right? And put a little funny stuff in the ticker at the bottom and all this kind of stuff. So it allows me to do that. It really it's just that part of my brain, and then and it allows me to because they have to be quick. So I'll do them on the day usually. So I'll get news that's happened that day, write it that afternoon, and record it, and then release it that evening, kind of thing. So it's all up to date, you know. But yeah, those ones are fun.
Well, and I had another question. Are you only on X, or do you put these videos elsewhere?
I was exclusive to X for a long time. I did start a YouTube and a TikTok in December, but I've uploaded to there maybe a handful of times. I do want to be exclusive on X, but obviously at the moment with how it is with the payments and stuff like that, you can't really. So I decided to branch out.
Well, man, I
Once
tell
it
you,
comes back, though, once it does, I'd love to. I would love to be just exclusive for X, but at the moment, you have to.
had to
You have
branch
to.
out. Not
Yeah.
put all your green eggs in one basket.
Yeah, your green eggs and ham.
Or your ham. Well, let's see. So the best place that folks get in touch with you is on X at Green Man Reports, and check out
Yep.
Green Man's account on X as well as his community. What are some things that you're
Yeah, for
doing in
sure.
your community? What's the focus?
Well, the focus is just making more Green Man videos and content and stuff like that. I think the multimedia aspect of X and how you can communicate with fans and the direct access that you have to the people that are making the content that you like is like nowhere else, right? So I don't think anybody kind of we're all using it in different ways, and I think especially with content creators that are more multimedia, so ones that do video or music or put them all together or whatever like that. It's a brand new way of approaching how you interact with the people that like your stuff because it's instant and they're there and you can see their personalities and you can have those interactions with them and involve them in the process as well. I mean, obviously, I've done a few collabs where I've had 70 to over 100 people involved in the video, right?
Wow.
Whether by name or by we did that joke good morning post to end all good morning posts, and I had over I think 70 videos of creators from around X, all friends of mine, recording themselves saying good morning, taking a cup of coffee, and I cut them all into the video and had this massive kind of jokey hello welcome to X video where everybody was saying good morning.
That's
So doing
incredible.
stuff like yeah, so doing stuff like that, you can't do that anywhere else except X, right? You
You know,
can't have
having
those kind of
said
like
that, I think that creativity gives birth to creativity. And so, guys, if you watch what Green Man does and you'll just let yourself go and stop stifling your own thought processes and just try things out, be ready to fall on your face, pick yourself up, try it again. That is the thing that fuels and nurtures creativity. So in kind of parting today, Green Man, give the folks kind of a creative boost, recommendation.
well, I highly recommend the book, the War of Arts by Stephen Pressfield. Also, when you focus your mind on something, your mind will give you more of that thing. It's just having to focus your mind on whatever that thing is that you want to achieve. Before I started this account, I mean, this the account that I have here is it's a comedy account. But before I started this account, obviously my old account was more focused on the AI space and politics and all this kind of stuff. But I realized when I started this account is because this account is about focusing on finding the funny in things. It's retrained my mind to do that in real life as well. So my just quality of life in general has gotten better because what I'm focusing on with this account is trying to find funny things, trying to find things that make me laugh. So therefore, my brain has now started to train itself to try to find funny things everywhere in real life. So even my quality of life has gone up. So I would say try to focus on your work and be very careful with what you feed your mind because that's what you become. That's what you start thinking the most of. And because now I feed my mind mostly humor, I'm laughing all the time. So try it out. I try it out. I
And you're
highly
going to live
recommend
longer. Guys, one of the best ways to boost longevity as well as to make yourself more resilient against cognitive decline is humor. So find things to laugh about. If I have a choice between some funny guy or some unfunny news story, unless I can laugh at it, then I'm going to choose the funny thing. And I think that you should engineer humor as a part of your day. Schedule it on your calendar. I remember being in the corporate world, we would actually hire people to come in and teach the crew how to do these big belly laughs. So ask yourself that one. When's the last time you had a big belly laugh? So humor. Well, Green Man, thank you so much. I certainly appreciate you being here, guys. I put the book in the comments. I don't know if I spelled things correctly, but the War of Arts, is that plural arts or just art?
art. It's just one.
Just
It's just one
art
art. So it's
by Stephen Pressfield. But if you Google that, goodness, Google's good enough these days, it's going to pick it up. Guys, we'll be back tomorrow at 12 o'clock for the Space on Spaces, SOS, talking about the psychology and science of charm and likability. But today, just in about 2 hours and 12 minutes, we'll be doing Freaky Friday. Come and share with us the freakiest, craziest things that you've seen people do on X and things that people post. But take a look at Green Man. It's good to see King Cassius here, Stephen, that's someone, Michael Golden, my dear Golden, is here. It's good to see you laughing there, Golden. And also my dear friend Michael Holden and Bryce Noble, otherwise known as Barbecue Beef Balboa. That's a whole other topic. But Green Man, thank you so much, my friend. Keep up the wonderful work, and you guys have a great weekend. Bye bye now.
take care.